Spring planting is already underway for Northwest Iowa farmers, but some are feeling the strain of the war on their wallets.
That's right. The USDA has a biweekly Iowa production cost report. Now, looking at data from December 2024 to March 2026, anhydrous ammonia is a nitrogen fertilizer. It averaged $685 per ton in 2024. Now it's $944 in the latest USDA report. That's a 37% increase. Liquid nitrogen went from $333 to $534 per ton, a 60% increase. Now, number two, diesel, often used by farmers, was $2.68 a gallon, with a new average $3.99, a 48% increase.
KTIV's Taylor Deckard spoke with a local fertilizer company about how they're working with farmers to make sure everyone ends up in the green at the end of this ag cycle.
The high cost of fertilizer and commodity prices are making farmers have a hard time determining what direction they want to go. One farmer I spoke with said most farmers prepay in the fall, and now it's time to start planting.
There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the farming world.
For farmers like Scott Winter, he's prepping for planting season.
And we're just kind of getting started, doing a little bit of tillage, a little bit of spraying, getting things ready to go.
Lamar's Agri Center is a full-service ag product supplier specializing in grain and fertilizer.
They really have good prices on their fertilizer, and this will make them a lot more efficient, hopefully giving us better prices too.
Plants like Agri Center have dry nitrogen called urea, a key product for corn production. They're seeing about a 40% markup from their wholesaler.
Nitrogen market is what's in an uproar right now with the Gulf, with the war. That is what's causing the nitrogen to go through the roof. The phosphates and potashes have not followed suit.
Harpinaugh says farmers who prepaid in the fall had the advantage before prices went up.
Margins are tight right now. There's a lot of conversation about how to be more profitable. I mean, where we can cut corners without hurting yield.
One way to help with costs is in the planning process, grid sampling the farms, getting down to the acre to know exactly what that piece of ground needs.
So we're not spreading fertilizer places we don't need it. We put it exactly where we go. And these guys at Lamar's Ag Center do variable rate, where it just puts the fertilizer on where it's needed.
We really can't control the cost of the fertilizer pass-through commodity. We have to look at their soil tests and make sure they're not over-applying fertilizer.
What would you want consumers to understand about what's happening on the farm while they wait for their corn and beans to get to their table?
We feed America, and it's a lot of work, but it's what we do. We love it.
Lamar's Agri Center recently celebrated an expansion, a bigger, faster fertilizer plant. Scott says he hopes the facility's efficiency and capacity can serve more farmers in the area as they all navigate market conditions.
Taylor, thank you. CRU Group is a London-based commodities consultancy saying the most widely traded fertilizer that helps plants grow and boost yields are the hardest hit because of shipping delays and the soaring price of liquefied natural gas.